We're in the Lego house, and I'm sitting here with the Lego Technic design team. Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Good to see you. Hello.
Hello.
And good to see you.
Good to see you.
We talk about two awesome sets here. I think, spoiler alert, before we talk about this giant Liebherr stuff here, we talk about this set, which will be available in August as planned. Am I right?
That's right, but yeah, I have to talk with Sam. He designed it, so it's more his model.
I will do it. So it's your model. It will be available very soon in August. And what is special about this set?
So this set is a 4x4, and you have the new Control Plus elements in this one. So you have like a new battery box, new motors, new drive. You have the planetary gears also that we developed especially for this model. Yeah, it's like suspension, and there is like a cool like pivot in the front, so you can climb over very high obstacle on this one. So it's very nimble. It's very like badass looking. I think we wanted to put this accent into this toughness and robust of this model. Yeah.
You can control it with your smart device.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. And also with this pack, which you have with the trains, for example, with a remote control.
That would be like a question for Min, because he's the expert on this one, because he helps to develop this app with all the engineering things.
How can I control this beast?
So right now you can control it with our Control Plus app. Will be available in August, and basically both of the products will be able to be controlled different ways. I can show you a demo of it in a second or so, but we're basically offering a new level of control with the app and with the new system.
Yeah, just go ahead if you would like to show us the app.
So you can see it on the screen.
Perfect.
The idea is that the first thing that you will see is carousel, and then you can select the model that you want to control. And once you select the model, it goes into kind of initializing the app. And then if you click on the Smart Hub, it starts the connection process. It finds the hub and connects to it. So everything we've done with the app is basically about kind of keeping it real and authentic to the style of the model and the tone of voice, and also the way that you play with it. So everything you can see here is down to the sound of it. It's sampled from kind of this environment. It has different sensors in there, so you can see on the dial we have kind of a tilt sensor and a yaw sensor to show you, and also the kind of the sound. If you listen to the sound when it tilts, you can hear almost the metal is kind of screeching and bending. So what we have is a very traditional control system here. It's like you can steer the vehicle, and then you can accelerate, and you can also hear the sound going there. And with all these Control Plus models, we're also introducing a different way of controlling. So you'll be able to swipe and then select the model, and then basically this is what we call one-touch control, meaning that with one hand on the device you can basically press on the screen where you want it to go, and then it goes accordingly. So I can focus on playing with the model, and I don't have to focus on the device. I can see the model, I can steer it where I want it to go, and really immerse myself in that play. Another aspect of the app is also let me just reset this one. Of course, it's still, what you're seeing now is still an early build, so there will be some things around it, but let me just connect to it again. Another part of the Control Plus experience is also challenges and achievements. So if we just connect to the hub again. So the idea is that we want the kids to be challenged when they play with it. So we will kind of inspire them to do different things, and we'll also teach them how to control the vehicle. So if you go into this challenge screen, you'll get different challenges, and once you complete a challenge, you'll get different badges, and these badges is kind of your reward. And once you get a badge, you also get a nice video that shows how you could have done the challenge, and also kind of inspire you to do different things.
This sounds really great, and it's a nice play function as well. Can we put it on the floor and have one round? Yeah. So it's all about fun here. Okay, let's see what's going on.
So right now I'm just calibrating the wheels. With the system, we also have auto calibration. Meaning that we make sure that everything is working from the app side on the motors. And so once it's calibrated, meaning that now it steers straight, I can just drive around. And if I will borrow Sam's feet, I can show you the climb. and then different inclines. And you can also see on the app how the angle and everything is turning. So another important part is that because we want the kids to focus on the model, we added a lot of haptics on the smart screen, meaning that you will feel vibrations when you do different things.
This looks really great, and oh my goodness, this is a lot of power there.
Yeah.
So it was fun to design this build and then to add all the functions, of course.
It was very fun to design this set. Of course, I just came back from a holiday, and then this project arrived in my hand, and I was like, okay, there's I think the funniest set I've been doing so far. Of course, all the team were helping on this one because we're like wanted to be like a huge teamwork, and it was amazing. It was a fun year.
And the secret is Control Plus.
Yes, exactly. We wanted to bridge the physical world with the digital, but still with the model in center, and give the kids or the adults the opportunity to control it in the way they want. So, like we think we are delivering a very strong building experience. We wanted to take that also to be a very strong play experience. So it doesn't just end on the shelf and stand there. We want the user really to interact with it.
The only thing, and I mention this all the time, I'm sorry about that, there are some stickers.
Yep, there is some stickers. Of course, we had to choose like a radical look for this radical model. So I think the graphic designer did a wonderful job. We also introduced a new color on elements, and this is bring the model at the table.
Back on the table here. Yeah. So I think this is a new Technic color, right? We haven't seen.
It's not a new color. It's just new for this element. So we'll have like the curve panel in the new color. We have like the little panel in the new color as well. The big panel. These shape elements. These two shape elements in the front. And the triangular element here, also in a new color. The double angle beam and the 5-module beam will be.
I like this color. I think it was new with Lego Friends back in the day, and I think it's really looking good. So again, this is a stunning model, and I see the play functions, and I think this is going to be in my house one day soon. I think so, but now we have to talk about this beast here.
I think we should show you also the new element we actually developed for the
for this one.
Exactly, because we made a new wheel hub, which has actually a new what do you call it, kadang elements for the model. So actually we can have it's a 1-to-5 reduction into it, so we get quite a lot of torque in the wheel hubs. So there's actually a double planetary gear in there, which reduces the speed 1-to-5. So we get quite a lot of torque in the wheels.
A lot of power.
A lot of power, yeah.
This is stunning. So again, this looks. We can have one more close up here. It's really looking great, and I saw what is possible with this guy. So you play with it a lot.
Yeah, we played like so many hours to get this right done. And to offer this experience to the kids, because I think it's great. It's very nimble, and it's like you can't stop building obstacle and go over with it. It's very addictive. So. And
what I like here, it's always fun to me when I see system elements which you add here, like the macaroni pieces, and it's really great looking set. But we've been in Nuremberg, and we see the presentation of this Liebherr set. And again, I like those mid-range sets as well. But of course, everybody's also interested in this big Liebherr one. You're responsible for this, Markus.
Yes, it's we got a cooperation with Liebherr, and it was to find out which model we're going to do, and we want to do the biggest excavator they have, and this is the R9200, which is an 800-ton excavator. And actually, to make it realistic, we actually was the first time we did a model where we actually use 7 motors. And every hub can control 4 motors, so we had to have 2 hubs. And then we have a natural split in it. We have the undercarriage and the top part, and then the undercarriage is for driving and rotating the superstructure. And in the top part we have the motors for operating the boom. And this was all the technical stuff, and then we found out actually it's the linear actuators we have were too small, so we actually also developed new linear actuators, which are 4 modules longer, so you get a much longer stroke now to actually have a realistic movement for this model. And the sprockets we had were also too small, so we also developed new sprockets, which give you new possibilities also to build different shapes of sprocket vehicles with belts on. And then we also, for building this one, we developed a new gear wheel as well. It's a 28 gear.
Just a second, I would show Matthias. Here we go.
It's a 28 gear. And finally, long waited, we actually developed a new clutch. And this is a linear clutch. So actually you put these things together and then you have a clutch. And so instead for having the gear wheel, the 24 gear wheel, you have now a linear clutch, but it's much easier to use. So these are some of the innovations. And of course, one of the biggest elements is the new shovel, which was to make it more realistic, because something that we can't build. So we designed a totally new element with the drawings from Liebherr. So we made our Lego version of the shovel. And the shovel in reality weighs 50 tons. So lucky-wise, this is not so heavy.
More heavy than this one. Before you've started to design this model, have you actually seen the big one?
Starting designing it, we got a lot of reference material from Liebherr, so pictures and scale drawings and all this stuff. So we got a lot of information. But later we went to Liebherr and saw the real model, and actually also drove on it when it was operating. So
And that was fun.
that was fun. Yeah, it was really fun. It's an amazing machine. It's really big.
I'm really impressed by this one. Can we see the functions as well with your... We'll switch over to the expert here.
The connection process is the same. You select the model and then you click on it, and then you start the different hubs. That should be on. So with this model, we basically, because it's a real life model, we have a lot of reference to dial up the authenticity of what we did with the app. So everything you see and everything that you hear is basically sampled for the real life vehicle. So the sounds that we sampled, but also the controls. We went and did some research on how do you actually control these things, and how can we take that and apply it to a small screen. So for the first time, we have what we call like a full control of the vehicle. We can control multiple actions at the same time. So I have two joysticks. One is basically focusing on the arm, going up and down, and I can also control the bucket. And I can open and close the bucket, and I can also extend and turn the superstructure. And I can control the tracks. And you can also see on the screen that we have a lot of feedback going in. So you have kind of the analog control of the tracks. I can choose how much power I actually put into the tracks, and you can see it on the dials. But you can also see the tilt and the yaw of the vehicle. So if you look at the two smaller dials in the center, if we tilt the vehicle, you can see that the degrees go up and down. We also have a fuel gauge. So if you look at the display, there's two fuel gauges. One is showing the power level of the top structure, and the bottom one is showing the power level of the bottom structure. So for the first time, we can actually do something as impressive as this, turning and rotating different things at the same time, which hasn't been possible before. Another thing we can also do, because it's smart, we can basically go in and make it more easy for you to control. So we're introducing something that we call this one-touch control, where you see a side view of the arm, and then I can basically drag the arm as I want it to move and close the bucket. And then you can see the shadow behind it is basically representing the physical arm moving. And I can also turn the structures at the same time. So from there, we can also go into a different part, which is also new for us, is the custom-built movements. So the idea is here that you can create custom strings of movements and then create it as a we'll call it a program or a shortcut. So if I drag down a movement here, I can press play, and then it does it. What I can also do is basically press on this button and then select the shortcut button and then add it to it. That means that when I go back to the controls, I can press that button and it does it. So I have always access to the custom build movements that I have. But there's more. So not only do we have all these blocks of movements predefined for you, you can actually create your own blocks. So what you do is you go in and then you press the record button, and then I can show you that movement that I did before. It's a fairly difficult movement, so I just recorded that. It creates a block for me. I can choose the color of the block, I can choose the logo and the name, and then I can save it, and then it creates this block for me. Then I can pull down, and when I press it, it does the movement.
This looks really awesome. So Matthias was mostly filming the app. Now we could maybe run again, and you can film the whole process here. So just rock and roll. Show us what the Liebherr can do.
So,
okay.
Basically, what you can do for the first time is do a lot of different types of movement at the same time. So which we couldn't do before without being very complex for you to do. So like something like this would be very difficult for you to do. We can do now. But also being able to introducing this kind of one-touch control where with one finger I can basically swipe up and then make the arm move to the position that I wanted to do. And then you can see in the background there's a shadow of the arm, the real arm, moving into that position. And then there's also our custom-built behavior area where you can drag down presets and build like a string of movements, press play and it does it. But you can also save it to a button. And if I then go to the controls, I press the preset button and then it does it.
This is great. And we see so many functions. And you can tell me, Markus, what has been the most challenging part in creating this Liebherr?
Yeah, it's a different parts. Of course, it's the weight of the model. So you have to build a very stable undercarriage. Actually, also like which was able actually to drive the whole model, because it's 4,000 elements and weighs almost 3.5 kilos. So it's quite a heavy model. So if to make something work as Lego Technic, actually to drive and rotate on the spot, it was actually quite a challenge to get the gearing right. And then of course the design to actually fit to the real machine, also with all the details it has, you know. And you can see we also have some system bricks here. For example, these are the air filters, and you have all the the fire extensions. You have the turbochargers for the motors. So there's a lot of details in it where we made something you can open here, and then you can see actually the motors are lying like this, and they're driving the hydraulic pumps which are lying there. So there actually some replicas of the hydraulic pumps which actually drives the whole system. And then putting all the details, then we have the whole, this machine has 8,000 liters of hydraulic oils which has to be cooled. So all the fans, you can see there are the fans actually which are actually cooling the hydraulic and then you have all the other details like lamps and hazard lights. You have a step which can fall down, so you can actually enter the machine. You have a whole cockpit, and you can't see, but there's the real displays. You have a chair where you have the joysticks actually to play with the model, and all the lights, and you have a horn actually. This is how they communicate with the trucks. All these small details actually makes the real model actually integrated in. And we got quite a lot of help from the guys from Liebherr showing us all the details, which are actually important to actually make this more realistic, the whole model.
When do you start to develop this model?
Last year? Yeah, yeah, last year in June, I think we started. We got the first drawings. So. And then it's, of course, integrating our new power function systems. Like we got new motors, new hubs, and integrating all these elements was also quite a challenge because we had to also first got used to these new motors and new hubs. It's a totally, for us, new building with this stuff. So this was also quite some work to integrate all this stuff. So I have the right speeds and the right length, and of course saying, okay, which elements are missing. For example, developing a new linear actuator to actually get a model in this scale was also a part of the job.
Yeah, so now we are even more looking forward to this model, but there's some issue. As we published an article, I think 2 weeks ago, this is going to be out there in October, not in August. And the reason for that is why?
Yeah, there are a lot of reasons behind, but we found that the best solution for both launching the 4x4 and the Liebherr would be to split it that way. So that's what I can comment on. And we think still, knowing it's a quite high price point set, it's still ready for our in-season, so we think the timing is perfect for both products.
So there was no technical issue or something?
No technical issue with the new engines, and so production have been running as it should.
This is going to be out there in October. This is going to be out there in August. And thank you all so much for your time and showing this so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Over and thanks.
Thank you. Welcome.
Bye.